to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Swing and a miss. Oregon is headed to the Super Regional.
Fans being out there making this a great impact.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Big show today on a Wednesday. Oregon on the practice field this afternoon after they were on the practice field yesterday afternoon. And I look forward to welcoming Rob Moseley back from Paris. He'll be with us today, the GoDucks.com editor-in-chief, after a great trip to the Olympics. You got to see some pro Ducks win some gold medals, which was outstanding. We'll talk with Rob today. He's been back in football practice as well. And then also Coach Lanning met with the media yesterday after practice, in addition to Derek Harmon and Noah Whittington this week. And tomorrow is our first official Oregon athletic event as members of the Big Ten Conference. Oregon soccer is in action tomorrow. The Ducks begin this athletic season as they always do at Pape Field. Seattle is the opponent at 7 o'clock tomorrow. It's on the Big Ten Plus live stream platform. If you are not familiar, here's your reminder that Big Ten Plus will have all of the non-linear TV Oregon events that our Quack Video crew will actually be producing. I'm looking forward to having all of those broadcasts for you, and you can tune into the first one tomorrow, Thursday, 7 o'clock at Pape Field on Big Ten Plus. Oregon officially in the Big Ten with Oregon soccer kicking things off. I was actually at soccer practice this morning, talked with Coach Abel a bit. I think they're excited for a new season. Look, they're coming off what was a tough year. We know that. Chance to do something fun. Chance to do something maybe special. Get that win. Start out on the right foot. Seattle's a pretty good side. See how they do coming up on Thursday. Oregon soccer is in action. Then on Saturday, the green and yellow scrimmage for Oregon volleyball at 10 a.m. More details on GoDucks.com. And then Portland State is in town to face Graeme Abel's squad for the second Big Ten Conference member athletic event of the season. 1 o'clock on Sunday, the Ducks will face Portland State. And Oregon football practice does continue today, and the Ducks are looking forward to their second scrimmage. That Team Out West episode 2 dropped last night. Big focus on the strength and conditioning staff, particularly Wilson Love. Really cool to highlight that, to see that. How many head coaches have you heard over the years say that you don't win at the end of the season just in the season? You win at the end of the season in the off season. And that's what the strength and conditioning coaches are really all about. But Wilson Love, man, he's got tons of energy. Every time I've had him on for an interview, it's just awesome. It's great. In fact, we did one last year. We were sitting in his office while everyone's lifting outside, and just the energy and the passion for what he's doing really came through, I thought, in the interview that we did last year for the pregame show, but also really comes through when you just see the look on his face and the passion from that team out west. The behind-the-scenes look, hard knocks style of Oregon football continues. You can find it on the Oregon football social media channels, or maybe if you're watching Duck Insider here on the GoDucks YouTube, you can find it there as well. All right, now, Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach. Every time we talk with him, it's brought to you by our friends at the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. He talked with the media yesterday. Coach Lanning breaking things down coming off the practice field.
Really good competitive practice from the guys today. Finished off with a really competitive red zone period. Really solid, but can open it up from there.
You got a chance to look back at the scrimmage. Just what stood out and what do you want to see differently this week?
Like I said, kind of coming off the field, same scenario. We got to get better at our operation. We've really attacked that the last couple days. I think that's really good. We got to keep incorporating more crowd noise for our guys so they get used to that. So we had some of that today, which was a positive.
Why did you feel like you needed crowd noise today?
Just because we're going to play in some loud stadiums, you know, and our stadium's a loud stadium when our defense is out there, right? The coach-to-player communication is a little bit different. How are you going to use that, and what's that going to look like on the field?
Does it feel like the guys are comfortable enough with the playbook that now it's just making sure that you guys can communicate that in that setting?
Yeah, most of our stuff's in. We still have a couple things that we're adding, but for the most part, the playbook's the playbook, and there's a couple wrinkles here and there, but certainly room to improve.
How close are you to getting into more scheme stuff for week one and still focusing on yourself?
Yeah, we're not there yet. We still got some time before then.
Dan, can you speak to your relationship with Jordan James and how it's evolved over the years?
Yeah, just he's a guy that every single practice, him and I both challenge each other. What's this practice going to look like from an energy standpoint, from an effort? The guy just plays hard, right? He's kind of really quiet, right? If you guys get a chance to talk to him, it'll be interesting to see if you can hear what he says, right? But when he plays really loud. And I appreciate a guy that plays loud, brings the energy every single day, runs hard, runs tough. He's that guy that has toughness.
What have you seen from Trayshawn from getting into the team with last year and then his growth from last year to this year?
Yeah, just biggest piece that we're talking with Trey on every single play is what's the next play, right? Great last play, what's the next play? Bad last play, what's the next play? And he's done a really good job of that, embracing that the last few days, and having that mentality. I think he's been really strong to the ball this year, done a good job snatching it and attacking it, and then when he's had opportunities to block, he's blocked hard.
What about his leadership role and how he's kind of taking that on?
Yeah, his best leadership role for us is when he goes out there and puts it on the field every single day, and then how he affects the people around him. And those days that he does that, it makes our team really tough to stop.
What have you seen from Evan Stewart so far in this camp and how he's kind of improved from spring to fall?
Yeah, highs and lows, and he would be the same person to tell you that, but I think there's a lot of positive there with Evan, the way he attacks the ball. Like I've said, I think after the spring, he's one of the best at attacking the ball in the air. Certainly has speed, right, and continue to look for him to ramp it up and elevate his game for us.
Yesterday, Tony highlighted Amari Washington as a guy that just made plays in the scrimmage. Can you just speak to just his development from when he showed up last year to now where he's kind of at?
Yeah, I always think one of the biggest transitions for defensive line is how they use their hands at the line of scrimmage, and that's something that's really shown up for Amari. He's got a powerful punch, and when he's able to play in the backfield, it's going to be really disruptive to an opponent.
What are your thoughts on just that whole group of guys that came in last year and kind of how they've kind of progressed now?
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of growth from that group, whether it's Amari or Michael. There's a lot of guys that have stepped up and done a good job of elevating their game and put themselves in position to help us.
The amount of team speed you guys have on both sides, Sam, but on kickoff return specifically, what do you hope to see out of that group, not just before the season, but once the season arrives? What do you want to see from that group that maybe at times was missing at times? And yes, it's limited opportunities. Bucky got it in bowl games, but what do you want to see more from them this year?
Yeah, probably starts with the decision making back there, right? Making good decisions. Fair catch is sometimes a win in kickoff return, right? Because you're going to start with the ball at the 25. But ultimately great decision makers, and then we got to be able to block guys up front. The hardest job in football is being a front line guy on KOR and having to run back 30 yards and then turn around and block somebody. So we have to get good at that and have to train that.
Ted was talking about for the receiver group that they've kind of adapted this Ubuntu reference from the Celtics. Didn't know how much of that came from you and Corey, if at all, or if that was strictly a junior thing. Or
yeah, that's something Junior had, and I think he's used before with his wide receiver groups, but I think it's an awesome concept, and the guys really bought into what it means and how it can help our team.
Rashad talked about incorporating 3 or 4 running backs. Have you kind of seen that develop in terms of the running back depth there?
Yeah, I think we have multiple guys that can play winning football, and that's kind of what we talk about, above the line, below the line, and I think we have multiple guys there that can help us.
Talk about wanting your players to play fast once they know the playbook and stuff. We know how fast Devin Jackson is. How have you been seeing him be able to play faster this year now that he knows the scheme a little bit more?
Yeah, I think Devin is a completely different player than when he got here, right? And I've said that before about, he's always been a fast guy, right? But fast the wrong direction doesn't help you. Now he's fast in the right direction. So lots of positive with Devin. Expect him to continue to grow to help us.
It's kind of the importance in the real-life application of establishing a pipeline and recruiting, Dan, and particularly when you're talking about like in Southern California, where this program for close to the last 10 years has probably recruited modern day about as well as anybody in the country. How do you go about as a staff instilling that and keeping that, and what the importance of that is? Yeah, I think anytime in recruiting it's about relationships, and it's about time invested, right? And 1 + 1 + 1. And certainly when you start getting some guys from a certain area that have connections with each other, a lot of those guys want to be able to play together and see what you're building. So if we can continue to do a good job of adding those ones together, whether it's identification, whether it's the relationship, whether it's getting them on campus, like all those things add up and equate to wins in recruiting.
Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach, meeting with the media. Every time we chat with him, it's brought to you by the Whale Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. Duck Insider, always brought to you by our friends at OnPoint Community Credit Union, where people are the point. When we come back, continuing on the football front, also maybe, we'll get into a little bit of Olympic talk, because Rob Moseley was there. He was in Paris. The GoDucks.com editor-in-chief will join us. Coming up, we'll hear from some more student athletes as well. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Kids ask their parents a lot of questions.
Why can't people fly?
Gravity.
Is the moon really made of cheese?
Yep, cream cheese.
When can I move into a big kid's car seat?
For some questions, parents may not have the answer, but that's okay. They can't know everything, but knowing the right seat for their age and size will help protect them in a car crash. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Where do babies come from?
Good luck, Dad. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We were just clapping because Alex Simpson walked into the studio.
Let's be clear. I was clapping because the fight song was playing, and I was clapping along to it. And then he walks in. Now he thinks I'm clapping for him.
Okay.
When any regular listener of the show would
just know.
That was not the case.
I was about to compliment that you're just in mid-season form. If you're coming in, like, first show back after going to the Olympics, and you and Alex are just right back where you were before. I mean, mid-season form, Rob.
What I meant to say is bonjour, mon ami. Comment ça va?
That was good.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, so actually, real quick, inside the show a little bit, I know you were doing like a lot of like micro-learning about French and learning French. How much did it help you? Like, actually, I'm genuinely curious.
It didn't not help.
That's good.
Yeah, there were a couple instances. There was one time we were doing battle with a vending machine.
Oh, boy.
And my 400 and something days on Duolingo helped me brain out what the issue was and how to get past it.
That's
good. Successfully purchase a beverage on a hot day in Paris. And there was one day some gentlemen were in our seats at a beach volleyball match, and I was able to successfully communicate that they were in the wrong row.
So, sir or madam, please move.
38, 39.
Pretty
Monsieur,
good.
S'il vous plaît.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo. Well done. So, okay. Everyone has been asking when you were going to come back. We suffered.
Everyone, literally all of the people.
We suffered through the Quack Minute without you.
Yes.
I think we did okay. Wednesdays have not been the same on the show. I just have to tell you.
Well,
so now
we're back.
We're back. How was it? Tell fans how it was. You got to see some Ducks win golds.
Yes, it was phenomenal. So 3 weeks ago now, almost left town, went to London for a couple days. Yeah. First time there was great. To go to a, exotic foreign city, but still have everything be in English
helps.
I definitely needed some blokes to repeat themselves because the accents were a hurdle at times. But look
at that Olympic connection with Hurt. Wow.
It was kind of the best of both worlds in that regard. So, London, I can't wait to go back there. Then went to Lille for a couple of days, which is where the pool play was for the basketball.
Yep.
So saw the USA men play Serbia in pool play.
Yeah.
Those both ended up being medal teams, right?
Yes.
Serbia and bronze. And then the next day, saw Satu and Niara Sabali play in pool play for Germany.
Sweet.
And that night, saw Sab and Team USA play somebody, I can't remember who. Belgium, maybe? I don't remember. No, I think Germany played Belgium that day. Anywho, then went to Paris the next day, saw some swimming.
Yeah.
It was the only swimming we went to. It was a prelim, but we saw Ledecky's 1500 prelim. We saw that Leon fella, who's apparently a Pac-12 guy. I didn't even know.
Arizona
State guy. Yeah. I'd never heard of the guy until we got there. I'm a big swimming guy. Sorry, swimming. We don't have swimming.
We don't have swimming.
Yeah,
I get
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, it was a lot of basketball, more basketball. Went back to Lille at least one more time when Sab played Germany.
Talk about collision of worlds.
Not herself. Yeah,
Right.
she had help.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool. Saw Maite play with Spain, but that was in the quarterfinals, so they were in Paris at that point. And then just saw a couple of beach volleyballs. Ended up going to one fencing, which is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna forget something.
You
but
really
then
hit a lot.
A ton of track, yeah. And I think we didn't see Wyndham Clark because the golf was like an hour and a half out of town. Did not see Dylan Brooks with the Canadian men's team. Somehow did not see Alicia Johnson. Just all the hurdles. We just didn't have tickets to any of those hurdle sessions. But I think we saw all the other ducks at least
That's
once.
pretty sweet.
Which was it brought the track stuff to life so much. It was just awesome, and the basketball stuff too. And it was gratifying too. Some of the kids were pretty stoked to see a familiar face.
Sure,
or familiar faces too. Amongst the whirlwind of the Olympic
you gave yourself
experience.
away with the flag.
Right. Yeah, the flag kind of started to take on a life of its own, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody of course wants to know what was the best part, and seeing Cole Hawker win that gold medal was the energy in the stadium was just off the charts because of the Ingebrigtsen-Kerr matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And that was developing over the course of the race. And so, it just took the energy to the next level. And then suddenly Cole enters the picture, and we're just losing our minds. And everyone else in our section starts to look back what are these people so excited about? Nobody saw that coming. And I was my calves were pretty sore for a couple of days from just bouncing around like a maniac when that was going on. Cole's dad was on our flight back to Chicago, and I let him know. He had kind of a viral moment for sort of a profanity he offered while Cole was on his way down the home stretch to win gold, and I told him I felt for him because what was coming out of my mouth at that point was not rated G, that's for sure, because it was just such an awesome, not that anybody doubted he had the ability to do that, but, the narrative was Ingebrigtsen and Kerr, and that's kind of how it was developing.
Yeah. So that happened. I got to tell you, that happened right before we went on the air. That day. So
so were you spoiling it, or did you have to sit on it?
So I struggled with that, truthfully, and there have been a lot of arguments in the broadcast industry about this. I personally think that NBC did it great this time around, and some of that is because of the time change. Basically all morning, all day, you had it on live, and then they did the repackaged primetime in Paris. So I kind of assumed, it's not like it happened at 2 a.m. and then we're spoiling it. So I just went with it.
I was just talking to somebody else about that too. I just think in this day and age,
you got to do it live.
Yeah,
you have to.
If you're out there and you think something monumental in sports can take place and you can avoid it,
exactly,
in the smartphone era and everything else, then that's, more power to you if you try. But don't blame anybody for quote unquote ruining it for you.
And also, you and I have talked about this both on and off the air before. In this role, it's to say go Ducks and promote Oregon, and what better way to do that than hey, this just happened. This is news. It was pretty cool.
These Ducks are tripping me out, dude. It's like 3D behind you.
Yeah, isn't that nice? We did some renovations while you were away.
Whoa. Yeah.
Don't look behind you. It'll make you really be 3D.
Okay, cool.
Because those are really
popping.
There's a lot of shadow.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So don't look.
All right. I'm a little fuzzy right now still because of the time change.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Going there, I was a mess. Coming back, I've been a mess.
But you're here.
The sleep schedule is a disaster right now still.
But you're here.
Yeah. Suddenly I'm a morning person. Who saw that coming?
Are you going to try to keep it that way?
Probably for at least a couple more weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big for you.
Yeah. Hood to Coast is next weekend. And I need to kind of be up early, a couple mornings for that. So yeah, I'll
Did
probably
you
try to keep
continue
it
the
rolling.
training regimen while you were at the Olympics?
Oh God, dude, I'm in so much trouble. I'm in a lot of trouble.
Well,
we were obviously on our feet a ton.
Yeah, sure.
Which was
Yep,
great.
yep.
So it's not like I gained weight or anything like that. I ran once in Lille. I ran once in Paris. I'd hoped to run 4 times. I ran 2 times. I'm trying not to be too hard on myself about that. But I didn't find out until this Sunday what leg I'm doing at Hood to Coast, and I have the single hardest leg on the course. So my friends are killing me. Like, it's not the hardest set of 3 legs, but the second leg 20 in Hood to Coast is the hardest single leg.
And you do this every year, just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
Like, Rob, this is an ongoing tradition for you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah. We're counting on you.
It's going to be rough.
Look, we're all counting on you to bring home that medal, okay? Products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I say every year, victory proved elusive once again. I have a feeling I'll be saying that in 2 weeks.
Editor-in-Chief of
But who knows?
GoDucks.com. Who knows?
Who knows?
Like, Cole Hawker.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes.
Editor-in-Chief, GoDucks.com, Rob Moseley, going to the Olympics. Okay, so now, I had a lot of people ask me this to ask you. So you now have experienced the Olympics and did it in a foreign country.
Right.
4 years from now, it's in Los Angeles. There's a lot of people I know that are Americans that want to go because it's in the States. What's your advice now for people who maybe try to go when it's in Los Angeles?
Okay, so first of all, sign up for, like, Google, LA28, any social media accounts they have, sign up for all those so that it's not possible to miss, like, the alerts on, like, how tickets are going to be packaged when they go on sale, when those on sales are going to happen. Like, I got picked out of a lottery to buy tickets like last January, like 2023.
That helps.
So like 2/3 of the tickets that we used, had been purchased like 18 months ago or something.
Sweet.
So that was really helpful. Hopefully LA uses the resale platform that Paris did because A, people couldn't price up tickets if they wanted to get rid of them, but B, it was just really convenient way to kind of shift on the fly if you needed to. Like the day Sab and Satu played, Niara got hurt the first game we saw her, and so she wasn't playing that game, so it was Sab or Satu. We had some indoor volleyball tickets, but it's like we couldn't have Sab playing Satu and not go. So we kind of pivoted, and the resale platform made it really easy to get tickets to the basketball game and to get rid of the volleyball tickets we had.
That's cool.
We did end up eating a couple of events, but it was no big deal. I mean, like, you have to go in with the attitude like there's, nothing can go wrong. Even if it does go wrong, we're going to act like it didn't go wrong.
Right.
I'm concerned on a couple of fronts. Transportation in Paris was a dream. I mean, between the metro system, bus, the light rail, trains, getting to Lille, it was so easy, and your phone makes it so easy now. Like I have a iPhone. I assume like other smartphones have this too, where you just kind of put in you say where you want to go, and then you put in like the public transit option. Hit the metro icon in Apple, whatever it is on the other phones, and it just tells you like be on this train at this time, then transfer to this platform to catch this train. And we wasted 5 hours one night. We didn't know we wasted at the time, like mapping out all of our travel for each day.
And you were like, we don't have to do that.
Didn't have to do that at all because your phone just can do it for you. And
there you go.
But I'm concerned for LA because of the traffic and everything. I know they say they're going to bring in a bunch of buses, and they don't want people driving anywhere. And if that all works out, great. It'll probably be good.
Yeah.
But it's hard to imagine in that city given kind of the car culture that exists there.
And just the people that are there for things that aren't the Olympics.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
The other thing that made Paris so spectacular was that they hosted so many events at the historic locations. Like we went to beach volleyball twice at the Eiffel Tower. We went to the fencing at the Grand Palais the one time.
Roland Garros.
Yeah, we went to Roland Garros. I didn't even mention that. Yeah, we were at the that was the other like individual like single thing because we saw the doubles match where Alcaraz and Nadal lost to the American dudes who eventually won silver. And it's probably the last time the Nadal will play on the main court at Roland Garros. And there's literally a friggin' statue of him outside that court because of the success he's had there. And so that was pretty special. Actually, Leon won a gold medal in swimming while that match was going on, and like half the crowd was on their phones watching him swim for like that 2 minutes.
That's kind of cool.
Super cool. But again, historic venues, and LA just by the nature of how much younger our
The
country
city is,
and
yeah.
the West Coast is, it's going to be a different flavor. Now, I say having gone to Paris, not everybody who's going to be in LA was at Paris is going to be even making that comparison, and it's going to be awesome in its own way, presumably. But, personally, those are a couple things I'm like, LA's got a high bar to reach. Now, 3 years from now,
who knows?
That Paris will be in the rearview mirror, and there'll be a different kind of excitement, enthusiasm.
And that's like, so I actually am, every time the Olympics come around, I am a very interested swimming guy. Like I always have been growing up where I grew up, and volleyball is a big part of Santa Cruz, where I grew up in California. And I'm amazed at just the idea of them doing it at SoFi. Like doing the swimming at a stadium like that is pretty amazing. So then there's the other side of it where like you do have those existing venues that aren't necessarily historic, but it could mean it's a unique opportunity. I don't know.
And the swimming venue in Paris wasn't that big.
Right.
There's a lot of demand for it. So if you can get more people in there to watch it, cool. That's awesome. And Lord knows the big screen there is ginormous. So even if you're sitting up in the rafters, you're going to be able to see what's going on pretty good.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting. I just, I had a couple people say like, "Hey, I want to hear your perspective on that." So thanks for sharing. I think it's cool.
There's a chance I think for some different events, like surfing, skateboarding, sort of stereotypically West Coast sports.
Yeah.
I think have a chance to kind of profile different in LA than they did. Surfing in Tahiti was amazing, I'm sure, but you also probably didn't necessarily feel like you're at the Olympics in some ways. It's going to be for athletes in certain sports like that. It's probably going to be a really fun event.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, and like the X Games are in LA a lot. You know? And so for those sort of extreme sports that have crossed over to being the Olympic sports, I think that's cool.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
You're right about that. Talk about some historic things for those sports.
One thing I was just talking to somebody else too that I hope they find a way to do, if possible, is a cool thing they did is at the Playa de la Concorde, they had 4 different kind of temporary venues set up. BMX, breakdancing, skateboarding, and 3-on-3 basketball.
Right.
And we went to 3-on-3 to see Elisa Mevius, the German player who's coming in for the Oregon women, who ended up winning a gold medal, which is just bonkers. So 4 different, like, sort of smaller temporary bleacher venues set up on this one footprint. Yeah. And each of them, because, again, those are all kind of like street sports, kind of urban environment sports. They set them up in such a way where if you were at one event and you kind of wandered over to another one, you couldn't see great, but they created some angles where you could kind of see into the other venues. And so there was reason to kind of hang around and linger. And apparently you could even pay like 30 euros and go into the footprint, and you didn't have a seat in it. You couldn't go into the grandstand,
like standing room,
but you could kind of roam around, enjoy the concessions, go to the vendors, get some swag, whatever, and then linger kind of right on the periphery of these locations and check out some Olympic events for a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah.
And so it'd be pretty cool, particularly given the transportation issues LA potentially could have. If you could have multiple sports on one footprint like that, that might be an opportunity to make it really fan-friendly.
Yeah, I'm amazed at just the logistics and the planning that goes into all of these sorts of events. And like at the University of Oregon, there's a lot of big events that get hosted here, but certainly the Olympics is something else, and it's going to be fascinating.
Another part of the transportation was like the moment you got off a bus or a metro, there were people and signs that made it so easy and so clear to get where you needed to be.
Follow that arrow.
It was totally. And it was like everybody was bought in on trying to streamline the process. On the other side of the coin, and I respected this in its own right. There were, because we stayed in some Airbnbs and some kind of residential, not like hotel type areas, but still it was, in the Olympic footprint by and large in the city. And multiple businesses we walked by had a sign up that was like, "We're closed until after the Olympics. See ya." And I respect somebody being like, you know what, I really don't want to deal with that, so I'm just going to peace out for a while and avoid it.
Maybe you were renting their Airbnb.
So, our guy, Pierre, was actually pretty awesome. But this was more like businesses, like, a barber or, something like that. Just like, if you don't want to deal with it, you know what's coming.
Right.
Yeah, do everyone a favor. Save yourself the headache and just get out of town for a while,
Makes sense.
And then everybody that was still around in the city basically embraced, like, okay, all these people are coming from all over the place. They're going to struggle with the language. Yeah. We're going to, try to play.
Have some understanding.
Right, right. And it just felt like the entire giant city did that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, I love the fact every 4 years the Olympics is always such a huge thing, right? And then really every 2 years for those of you that are so interested in the Winter Olympics, but of course the history and the tradition that comes with the Summer Olympics. I personally, I said this actually while you were away, and I kind of wanted your perspective. Like, I think working at a place like this is so cool because of the connection to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a little bit ironic, but it's probably not completely a coincidence that the college calendar, most people are done in about 4 years. The Olympics are every 4 years. There's sort of this like 4-year period where it comes back around. I just think having a connection like that from the University of Oregon it's a cool piece.
I hope, given all the changes that are going on in college athletics, that there's a recognition and an appreciation that the university system that's not football, everything but football, is a big reason why the U.S. wins the medal count every Summer Olympics. Dominates, right? Yeah. The host country always does great.
They do a little bump.
Because they step up. They know what's coming, and they step it up in the years leading up to that, and they make sure they have their pipeline where it needs to be. But it's really, really hard to sustain if you don't have the kind of structure that the American University College Athletics provides. And, as all these changes are going on and as discussion, obviously for good reason, for justifiable reasons, football is commanding a lot of attention and support and resources and all that. But the broader college athletics landscape is a huge reason why we get to enjoy the Olympics to the extent that we do as Americans because of the success we have.
Yeah.
So, and even like I say, Leon, the French dude.
Yep.
Went to Arizona State. A product of the American college system helped him, certainly not the only reason, but helped him get to where he was. So, we watched Mondo. We were there the night Mondo broke the world record, in pole vault for Sweden.
Right.
If I understand right, he grew up here, and I've definitely went to college here.
That's right.
And so, I hope that for a lot of reasons, that being one of many, 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 that it's not lost on folks that we should be supporting all these other sports and all these other athletes because all of us benefit from the fruits of their labors and from the investments that all of us make in them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's really well said. And that, and that's there's some romanticization of it, that comes with the Olympics, but you don't get that either without the support throughout.
Right.
No, I'm with you. And
if we're getting waxed every 4 years, no one's going to care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Rob Moseley with us.
Yeah.
Hey, how about that football team, huh?
Hey, we got a football team? Yeah. I've been to 3 practices. I came back. We got home Friday, like 10 o'clock.
Which, by the way, this timed out perfectly because I was in a wedding for one of my best friends from college literally the day after Rob got back. So great planning.
Yeah, I don't know about that because it was 24 hours door-to-door on Friday.
Oof.
So, I was at the scrimmage physically on Saturday.
Do you remember the scrimmage?
I mean, I know I was at Autzen Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know,
That's good.
people were playing football.
Yeah, good.
But, that's
the
about
Quack Minute
it.
was good.
Yeah. Well, that's nice of you to say.
Scott said it too.
It was a whole lot of me just getting out of the way. Duck scrimmage today. More from Coach Lanning.
But that's the job.
No doubt. Anywho, and then watched practices the last couple of days. About to head out to watch this one, and but I was laughing the other day because I feel like we joke about this every year. I was definitely out there Saturday, like, oh my God, who are all these people? And by yesterday, it was like, there's maybe still a couple times I had to check my roster, but it was like you go from being completely overwhelmed to just after a couple of days, oh no, I'm good.
It's like the flashcard idea, right? Like once you do the flashcards a couple times,
it's in there.
You're good.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You're good. Well, I won't keep you. I know you got to get to practice. I'll see you down there once we're off the air as well. But thanks for coming.
All good, yeah.
Thanks for being back.
Great to see you guys.
Wednesday feels right again.
Yeah. We didn't get too goofy, but
there's
time.
I genuinely wanted to know,
there's
hey,
time.
Olympics, what do we,
Yep.
what do we think?
Oh,
Alex
boy,
has a gift for
go.
you, so here we go. Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com, at GoDucksMoseley, at Duck Football. And when we come back.
Yes. I didn't need the translation.
Everyone else did.
Yeah.
Everyone else did. I won't read that on the air.
It says he doesn't like me.
Yep.
But we know he's just kidding.
You know what's funny?
He's being facetious.
You're the only good SAT word.
It's my favorite word in the English language.
Really?
Has all 5 vowels in order.
Huh. That's a good a good trivia question.
Yeah.
But like, as one of the few Dodger fans that we work with,
right?
Your guys' love-hate, I
Well, it's his only endearing quality.
It's something.
And he's a cutie patootie. I got to give him that too. He's a handsome man. Yeah.
When we come back, Derek Harmon, talk football on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Speaking of cutie.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. So good to see you real.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, it is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Thanks again to Rob Moseley for joining us. So we're going to hear a little bit from Derek Harmon. He met with the media this week, transferred in from Michigan State. Now figures to be a big part of Oregon's front line. Derek Harmon talking with the media after practice this week.
How would you describe your first fall camp here so far?
It's been good. This is my fourth fall camp, but it's different up here. We do a lot of two-spot, not what I'm really used to at State, but we have more bodies here, so it makes sense. But it's going good so far.
Is it beneficial? Do you see the benefits?
Of the two-spot?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Everybody getting reps. The young guys getting reps. Older guys getting reps. A lot of reps to go around. So with the bodies, it's good to go two-spot, I feel like.
Tony was saying you had a couple of strong plays in the scrimmage on Saturday. Just talk us through that scrimmage and maybe what he might have been talking about.
Yeah, it was just me playing the defense. Still trying to learn defense also, but just making them plays within the defense. That's all it really is to it.
How do you feel like you're picking up the playbook now?
It's coming. It's coming. Still got some ways to go. Still work to do, but I'm picking up pretty quickly. But still can work and get to know the defense way better than I do, like the back of my hand, like I did at State. So,
what excites you most about lining up next to a guy like a Jamari and just what he brings?
Explosive, big body. He get off the ball quick, can stop the run, can rush the passer. So, like, I'm very excited to be next to him. Like, can't wait to go in the season with him.
We've only known him for a little bit, but can you speak to just the impact Amari Washington is having in your group? Tony was talking about him being a guy that's taking a step.
Most definitely, he's a guy that's gonna need to step up this year. You see it in fall camp. He's a ball player. Like, that's a kid that see that's going to make some plays this year, going to make a big impact for the front this year, as far as stopping the run, getting the sacks out there too. So I feel like he's going to make a big step this year from last year.
When you're just either practicing more, just being called on more in that role, or playing a lot in games because of depth, because of your talent, when coaches are preaching about targeting 40 snaps per game for interior defensive linemen is kind of optimal, we have to go into in terms of just buying into that, Derek. When maybe you're used to playing more, maybe you want to play more, you feel like you could, but for what they're looking for and wanting you to be, and everybody, to be the best they can be for that many, what is it like to come into a program where it's like, no, 40 to 45, maybe that's good, maybe that's best. Maybe
most definitely. I was probably taking 75, 78 at State. I was basically on the field, the whole defense, because we had probably 3D tackles that was rotating in the room. So that sounds good to me, 40 snaps. So like I'm not complaining. I don't want to get off the field, but we got guys that can rotate, and it's no fall off once the guys come in. So that's what I like about it.
Where do you want to see the most improvement in yourself and the way you play this year? Really
just run to the ball. That's my main focus. I shed a little bit of weight, so my main focus is running to that ball, getting to the quarterback also. I feel like on film, it's so I can stop the run, and also so I can get to the quarterback also.
Can you explain just the matchup with Poncho when you do have those and the offensive line that you do face?
Great center. He was working a little bit of guard today, but he's a hell of a player. I'm sorry for my friends, but he's a great player. Came in, noticed it. When I first got here, he was a great player. So I love going against him. Also Matt and also Mark. All love those guys. Great online.
Which of the true freshmen are standing out maybe so far for you guys in the defensive line?
For our defensive line, Tion, big body, man. That's a kid. I thought he was probably a sophomore when I first got here. They told me he was a freshman. Opened my eyes wide open. So you don't see a lot of them guys around. So that's probably another guy that I can see making an impact for our D-line also. So.
Derek Harmon, I think is going to be a big part of Oregon's defense. He talked with the media this week. A question coming in on Facebook from Tom. When will the TV schedule be announced for volleyball? Will they be on Big Ten Network or Big Ten Plus app? Good question. So the way that things will work moving forward, there will be less linear TV broadcasts like Pac-12 Network or Big Ten Network. More of those games will be available on the Big Ten Plus app. So if you're wondering, like, oh, should I get it? Should I not get it? Especially for a sport like volleyball, yes, you're going to want to get it. My understanding is the TV schedule for Big Ten volleyball is pretty much finalized, if not finalized already. But I could just tell you that there will be more on Big Ten Plus than there will be on Big Ten Network for Oregon volleyball. I hope that answers your question, Tom, and I'm happy to answer more of those questions moving forward. Quick time out. When we come back, let's hear a little bit from Coach Abel, maybe? Yeah, let's talk the sport that everyone else in the world calls football. Graeme Abel, talking soccer, next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
There's still time to squeeze more out of summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. Now, if I can just squeeze more clothes into this suitcase for my road trip, got it!
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends September 3rd. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
There's still time to squeeze more out of summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. Now, if I can just squeeze more clothes into this suitcase for my road trip, got it!
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends September 3rd. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt,
all it takes is a moment.
My son Ricky took his life by the use of a firearm. It broke me, and I contemplated suicide. My grandson, I was gonna have to be here for him. I still own my firearm. I keep it in a safe because I want to keep my grandson and myself safe.
Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. So Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, on yesterday, he talked with the media. Tomorrow, Oregon soccer takes on Seattle in the first event of this athletic season, 7 o'clock at Pape Field tomorrow. Hope to see you there. And Graeme Abel talked with the media about all things Oregon soccer heading into the opener.
Oh, what have you learned about this squad so far?
How's it felt to be back in pads and taking a look?
Well, you got 2 exhibitions under your belt. What have you learned about this squad so far?
We've got depth, experience, which is good. High energy, athletic. So, yeah, it's a good squad that we put together. Really happy about it.
I'm sure it's been a focused, intense off season for you. What were your biggest priorities? What do you hope you improved, and you hoping to see once you take the field for real this week?
Yeah, re-establishing the basics for us. Probably moved away from that, and so re-establishing that in January and making sure that, we bedded in, a bunch of new players in January, and then we did it again over the summer, and so that was the focus in January through the spring, and then continued that into the summer, and then into these first couple of weeks of preseason.
And how about just team chemistry? How do you feel like that process has gone long term, and where are you at right now?
We did a good job. Right before preseason, we marched them off to the woods of Oregon. Figured if we live in Oregon, we might as well take them into Oregon. So Port Carolina landed off of a plane from Lithuania, and then we drove for 2 hours from here into the woods to go camping. So no, we've done some different things as a team, and then to be honest, our leadership group, Trinity, Mako, Sydney, Hennessy, Livy, they've done a really good job in making sure we stay accountable in the locker room. So they've done a really nice job with that stuff.
What was the offseason like learning about your opponents in the Big Ten?
A lot of film, a lot of watching those pieces. I'm familiar with some of the coaches just from knowing them professionally and things like that. So, we've watched games over time. We've had crossover opponents before when we were in the Pac-12 and that piece. So yeah, I was just watching more games.
Some of the veterans. Go ahead.
When you look at the film on Seattle as you get ready for them, what kind of sticks out?
They've always been athletic. Julie does a really good job there of getting good kids, out local kids. They get a lot of kids that transfer back into that area as well. So they'll be athletic, they'll be organized, they're always good up top, and so yeah, they'll be a tough opponent.
Some of the veterans that you brought in that have had some success, have they had the impact kind of culturally on your program that you might hope that those kids could bring in?
Yeah, massive. I mean, when if you go all the way back to the start of the spring, you bring in a kid like Mako that's won a national championship, been to a Final Four, captained a country like Japan, captained that country, and just in terms of the maturity level that she's able to bring in. Sydney Hennessy is just a big character, and we knew that when I spoke to the head coach of Tennessee, and who's a friend of mine, and I spoke to him. I was like, hey, what do we get from this kid? And be ready for a big character, a great kid, and that's exactly what she is. And so, we did our homework. Sean and Rach did a really good job. We made sure we went and got kids out of the portal from places that we knew and coaches we trusted. So we knew exactly what we were getting from the character standpoint, and they've all exceeded expectations with regards to that piece.
And how about the returners? Obviously a lot to learn from last season.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they've processed that in the right way and are looking to kind of grow from that this year?
Yeah, we closed the chapter on that in January. That was easy to close with regards to that piece. And yeah, the maturity piece, and we played a lot of young kids for a reason. And so players like Grace and Cam and Lauren Kenny, they've got big minutes under their belt that, typically young players wouldn't get. And then, Livy still only got her big minutes last year, you remember, and obviously Trinity as well coming back. So we got other players, Ella Osmussen, I'm sure I'm forgetting players, and but yeah, lots of experience there as well.
Well, a lot of familiar faces back in goal. I mean, how big of a key is that?
Yeah, huge. To return all 4 of them in terms of that piece. Maddie, Anna, Julia, Leah, they've had a really good off season, whether it was playing in the summer or this preseason as well. So yeah, a lot of experience there, which is good. Vital position.
What have the conversations been like with the team regarding, travel this season? A lot's been made of, going out to the East Coast. Do you feel like the team is ready for that?
You want to know the craziest stat? We'll miss less class in the regular season of the Big Ten than what we did in the Pac-12, which is crazy to think. Everyone made this big deal of it. So we obviously have tournament play to deal with. That's different than when we were in the Pac-12. But, in terms of how the schedule shifted a week earlier, I think we're 13 games into the season before we end up on a road trip before we start Big Ten play. So, and the ability to play one game weekends away at Washington, away at USC, and shifting them to the Saturday and the Sunday means, it's fairly easy. And then, we've obviously, the school have done a really good job at helping us with resources. So, and we used to go east once a year anyway. And we went to New York a couple of years ago. Went to Texas a few years ago as well. So we're used to doing it.
Not that I'm in a position to ask a deep X and O questions, but what do you want the character of this team to be in terms of style of play? What are fans going to see? What do you want the character of the team to be that way?
Yeah, Wyatt and the sports science guys have done a good job of preparing us physically. So we want to be on the front foot. We want to be, when our teams have been at our best here, we've been on the front foot in terms of pressing teams and things like that. And we brought a lot of attacking players in, so we want to be on that front part of the field. Got some really good athletes in terms of the set piece part of it, servers. So all around we want to be on the front foot, attacking team, good on set pieces, and that's when we've been at our best.
With it being the similar group of keepers, just Maddie and Leah both spending time in goal last season, what kind of jump have you seen so far heading into this year?
Well, the thing with goalkeepers is it's all about the games that you play. I mean, it's training is irrelevant. It's a big position based upon experience, huge. And so, Maddie's obviously got a bunch of games under her belt with regards to that. We were able to get the others games in the spring. Some of them got games in the summer for summer league teams. So just that experience alone gives them more presence, more stature and things like that within the group.
It's a big freshman class. How are you planning on utilizing them during the season?
Well, the great thing this year is we don't put as much pressure on the freshmen, you know what I mean, in order to have to contribute right away. We brought in a lot of experience. I think, not to go back to last year, but last year I think we had just over 260 games of experience on the entire roster. This year we're up at 700 games of experience on the roster, and we did that on purpose. And so we don't put as much pressure on that freshman class, but they've been great. I mean, they fit in great, and they've got after it, and they're learning all the time, and they've got really good mentors around them to help them keep learning as well.
Is there one that stands out more than the other?
I think Chloe, Carly have adapted really, really well to the group. Carolina has adapted. I mean, whenever you're coming from Europe, the American game is just different. It's blown over 120 yards as opposed to a tighter game, and she's adapted really well. So Ari's done really well in the minute. She's got Taylor Pearson came in early in the spring and did really well in the spring. He's got a goal here in the preseason as well. So yeah, they've all adapted really well and knuckled down. So it's been great.
Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, meeting with the media this week, previewing the season. It all starts tomorrow, a 7 o'clock start time at Pape Field. It'll also be on the Big Ten Plus app. First event as a member of the Big Ten Conference. Now, not the first conference versus conference, but it'll be the first time that you see the Ducks playing with those Big Ten logos on a field, particularly this time, Pape Field. When we come back, look around Oregon athletics and a little more football, too, on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle.
Or forget extra diapers.
You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby. Better than I've been.
Finishing up Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. So Oregon football, they will be practicing again today. We'll have a couple interviews after practice, a Quack Minute for you on the Oregon football social media channels. Have all those interviews for you on the show tomorrow. And then Oregon soccer kicking off the season Thursday. I cannot wait to see what Graeme Abel's team looks like. Just coming off a tough year. Turn the page. I love that Coach Abel said that. Like, you turn the page in January, you move on. You don't want to go back in time too much. But certainly some things to learn from, as the Ducks will look to turn that page starting tomorrow at 7 o'clock. It's your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Cafe Yum restaurants always throughout Oregon and Washington, the home of the Ducks. I got to say, shout out to Cafe Yum for including Washington as the home of the Ducks in the ad copy. That's really well done. In all of the greater Pacific Northwest, the home of the Ducks, by the way. Green and Yellow Scrimmage, 10 a.m. Saturday. Hope to see you at Matthew Knight Arena to shout out Oregon volleyball and Matt Olmer's team. And then Portland State, the opponent for Oregon soccer, at 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Ducks officially back in action. Duck football is off tomorrow. Friday, back at it. Second scrimmage for Duck football on Saturday. We'll have some details from that for you as well. I'm Joey Mack. Thanks for being with us. See ya.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I can envision the whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop.